What's up guys, Ethan here, your Spinnaker expert. Thanks for joining us for another installation of our Spinnaker Training Series. Today we're going to be talking about one of the components in Spinnaker that makes your software deployments safer, and that's deployment strategies. Out of the box, Spinnaker has a handful of deployment strategies that you can use to ensure that your software is deployed and available. The one we're going to be talking about today is the Highlander strategy, and yes, in case you're wondering, that does come from the movie Highlander. So let's jump in and see what we're going to do, and then do a quick demo of how it works. So if you look here on our screen, you can see that we've already got V1 of our Nginx server group deployed to our Kubernetes cluster. Now, the Highlander strategy, what it does is once you have deployed a new server group, it'll destroy all of the previously enabled server groups. So we'll do that by jumping over into our pipeline and configuring it as part of our deploy stage. So here we can see in our server group definition that we're deploying an Nginx container and using the Highlander strategy to do so. The container is very simple, it's just exposing port 80. So what we can do here is jump back into our pipeline tab and start a manual execution. What we're going to do, instead of deploying Nginx 1.11, we'll deploy Nginx 1.12 and show that as we update things, Spinnaker will handle orchestrating the destruction of previous server groups since we don't want them around. So we'll search for 1.12-Alpine in our tag list and click run. Now that we're actually deploying it, we can see what tasks Spinnaker is going to take to deploy our new server group. Down here in this section, we can see that we're deploying the Highlander stack for version 2. And if we click task status, we'll see all of the different things that Spinnaker is going to do as it's deploying. So the next thing we're going to do is jump back into our clusters tab while that's running and view the new server group being deployed. And you'll see here that version 2 is deployed, and we can see the different tasks that are happening on that server group. And we can pop back over into our pipeline area to watch this play out. We'll refresh a couple times just to make sure. And we'll see now that a new task has been started, this disable cluster task. So what that's going to do is it's going to disable the one that will be destroyed. Disabling is just a way of pulling a server group out of a load balancer, and by disabling it before we destroy it, we can ensure that we're not dropping any customer requests to our application. This is critical in maintaining your SLA, making sure that your application stays as available as possible. And kind of one of the great things that Spinnaker provides is these deployment strategies so that you don't have to worry about the semantics around disabling or terminating server groups yourself. Spinnaker will handle that for you. So now that this is running, we can jump back into our clusters tab and see that the V1 server group is now disabled. We can see that over here in this section. Spinnaker will tell us that it's disabled. And anytime you see a grayed out server group, that just means that it's not actually serving traffic. It's been pulled out of the load balancer. In some cases, you may need to disable a server group that may be misbehaving, and it's really useful to be able to do that over here on this right-hand side. And as this keeps progressing, we'll notice that the different tasks that are being handled are displayed right here, as well as in our pipelines tab. We can see all of the different things that are happening. We can check the status on them. So right now the disable cluster task is waiting for the cluster to actually be disabled and pulled out of the server, out of the load balancer, and now it's refreshing its cache. Now that that's actually succeeded, the shrink cluster task will take effect. Now, since we're deploying pretty much a one-for-one server group, this isn't really going to take anything into account. If we had more instances running than the one that we deployed, it'll shrink them. So now that our pipeline has successfully completed. And we can jump back into our cluster section and notice that version 2 has been deployed and version 1 no longer exists. That has been a demonstration of the Highlander strategy. Be sure to check back in for more videos as we talk about more deployment strategies and the different ways you can use them. Thanks for watching.